So how certifications, IIBA certifications, or the kind of a Scrum certification? So it's a kind of a plus point or something helpful during our interviews, or it's
Um,
only for kind of a recognition to ourselves?
so, if, as I mentioned, right, if you are not an experienced person, then you can showcase your theoretical knowledge from the certifications. But if you are an experienced person, then these certifications, in Indian context, are just something jewelry sort. They are not seeked out. So many organizations do not put a tag that I only want CBAP BAs. Yeah, because even they know that um, these certifications like CBAP, right? These certifications are purely theoretical, and they are much of that information is not practical. So in your practical world will be very different from your certification world. So that is an ideal way of doing things, but not many project managers follow the ideal way of doing things, and things like that become difficult. So uh, certifications are just something which help you bring clarity to your definitions and to your thoughts, right? So if someone asks me what is a requirement, I can you know fumble around and I can say that requirement is something that the client gives me, or requirement is something that I helps me bridge the gap between the understanding or something like that, right? But then if I have done IIBA certification and I have a definitive knowledge of or the definition of what a requirement is, I can stay that as per IIBA, a requirement is something so and so. So certifications and these learnings help you bring clarity and more understanding in your thought processes. So definitely any education or any knowledge is always welcomed. It does give you an edge, but what's more important is how much you apply that knowledge. Yeah, so if you have done certain certifications, and if someone is talking to you about certain things which are part of those certifications, that you are completely clueless because you just crammed it for getting a degree or getting a certification and then you forgot about it, right? So that's not very helpful, right? So whenever you are doing certification, do it from knowledge perspective. uh, there's no need to do it thinking that you'll get better opportunities or something. If you are capable and if you are, I won't say capable, if you are meeting the opening, right? So they'll hire you irrespective of your certification. But if you do not have an experience, then yes, these certifications, these course completions do come in handy. You get something to write on your resume. Yeah.
Yes, Shiva. Yeah, thank you. So, and I have another question. So currently I am into human capital management domain, and if I want to switch the domain to same to some other insurance or kind of a payments domain, so how I can do that? So I search on the Google, I Google it, but there is no kind of a kind of structured training available anywhere. You have to just get a bit of bits, pieces and pieces to learn from LinkedIn, blogs, and everyone. So how we can switch the domains? Uh,
Yeah, that's that's very tricky, switching the domains, because as I mentioned, not every information that you are seeking out is available on even on Google, right? So Google knows many things, but not everything. So domain is one example wherein you will not get structured courses or structured understanding or structured, uh, you know, um, knowledge given to you. So that becomes very tricky because you may not be able to showcase that in your resume. Yeah, so one way I mentioned is get a formal training for it. So there are certain institutes that are offering business analysis courses, banking courses, formal 2 year program uh, is one way of doing things, but that's a long time, 2 years, right?
Mhm.
So second thing, you can um, you can say to them, or you can showcase them in the interview, is that even if you don't know domain, but you are a fast learner, right, and you give attention to details, and you have other characteristics of you that will ensure that not knowing the domain will not become a blocker in your career growth, right? And uh, third thing is, if possible, try to get a opportunity within your organization itself to get into that particular domain. Yeah. So even if s- so if you talk about insurance domain, yeah, so even if you don't have theoretical knowledge, you can still gain knowledge by different ways. So let's take an example of insurance. Yeah, so for insurance, you might be having some vehicle insurance with you for sure, right? Scooter
Mm,
insurance or car insurance. So what you can do is you can keep that paper with you, your insurance policy with you, go through it and try to understand it, what they are saying. So you'll see words like deductible, you'll see words like limit, you'll see words like premium. Yeah, so you can then Google out what is premium, what is limit. So that information will be available to you. So you can break down your insurance policy and you can at least get a head start. And when you are doing so, you might come across some course or something alongside. So if we talk about banking, right? So see what an example of banking is. So you go to banks for getting credit cards, for getting loans. So search for those transactions, loan life cycle, credit card life cycle, things like that. If we talk about e-commerce website, right, so take an example of Flipkart, take an example of Amazon, and try to break down those sites. Yeah, so that's one way of learning about a particular domain. But uh, also we have to understand that there are two scenarios. One scenario is you switch domain, and that domain is a famous domain like banking, like insurance, right? But
mm,
even people are more there. So if there are 1,000 openings, there are 10,000 people for those openings, right? So you
yes.
have to, even if you learn, you have to compete across those 10,000 people who are there for those 1,000 openings, right? Other option you have is stick to your domain. You know the domain in and out. You become an SME in your domain. Even if the options are low, right? Even the if the demand is less, even the supply will be less too, right? So
Mhm.
if there are 100 openings, there might be only 200 people available. So then you will not be competing across 10,000, you will be competing across 200 only. Yeah. So
Mhm.
that's one point I'll like to suggest. Another thing that you have to cater for is that do not spend your time learning about things are uh, which which are not let me put it this way. Do not try to put your feet into two boats at the same time, right? You are, let's say, in capitals management domain, and you do not want this particular domain, and you want to switch across to some other domain, right? But have an understanding of what that sum is, whether it will be insurance domain or whether it will be banking domain. If you think that I learned something about insurance, I learned something about banking, and then I might get something in insurance or I might get something in banking, right? You will not be able to give uh, give justification to your learning, right? So every learning comes with the time, with effort, as well as finance part, right? So money is also might also get involved. So you have limited time, you have limited effort, you have limited money. So use that wisely. Do not try to learn about all the things at the same time. Yeah, just know what exactly you are looking for, and then spend your time and effort on that. Do not spend time and effort on things thinking that uh, you know i'll I'll learn this and this and this and this. Instead of becoming jack of all trades, it's always good to become a subject matter expert in one trade from career perspective. Yeah.
Yes, yes, correct.
Yeah. So
I said there are few institutes in Pune, stay in Pune, so who provides the kind of a domain training. But how they align with the practical experiences, I don't know how the practical things goes in industry and what they teach. So teaching, getting the knowledge of only the theoretical knowledge, but the in the interview, the interview is expecting more practical, kind of a practical things. So
I'll tell
that
you
that.
what. Yeah, I tell you what. There are two aspects of a business analyst. One is IT aspect and other is domain aspect. Yeah. So,
Mhm.
with a business analyst, I am talking to dev, I'm talking to QC, and I'm supposed to manage my requirements. I'm supposed to document my requirements. I'm supposed to elicit requirements. I'm supposed to, do stakeholder management. I'm supposed to do conflict resolution and things like that. So, as a BA, I have to be aware of all these things, right? So, I have to be able to answer these things in the interview. Another aspect I have is my insurance background or insurance domain knowledge. And why I need this knowledge is to speak to the client. So if client is saying something to me, I should not hear it as a gibberish, right? I should not hear it as something blah blah blah. I should be able to understand what the client is asking. So every person speaks their own language, right? So domain is another language I have to learn. So let's say French, I don't know French, right? What will I talk to a person who is speaking French to me, right? I won't understand even a single bit, right? Even if I try catch some words here and there, all I can do is google them out and understand those words, but still I won't be able to understand the complete thing. I'm watching Korean dramas from years now, but still I don't know Korean. Yeah, so you cannot learn. You cannot communicate if you don't know the other person language, right? So domain helps you communicate with the clients. So because you have to capture requirements from the client, you have to understand what they are talking about, right? So
Yes.
domain helps you in that. Domain does not help you communicate with your dev and QC. Domain does not help you tell you how to document the requirements. So when an interview happens, they will look into both the aspects. They look into how much strong you are in domain, and they will also look at how much strong you are in your BA work. So both are two sides of a BA profile, yeah, and both needs to be uh, you know at top notch in order for you to get selected. So even if you are very much good in insurance domain or banking domain or e-commerce domain or whatever domain it is, you might be very good in it. But if you are not able to showcase your BA skills, if you are not able to showcase your confidence, your communication skills, your articulation in an interview, if you cannot showcase that you have clarity in thoughts, if you are just fumbling around here and there, if you are taking wild guesses, if you are uh, um, you know do not if you're not showing the right attitude or of a team player, then you will not get selected for sure. No one will hire you only and solely based on your domain knowledge. On the other hand, if the requirement is to is a senior position, and if the requirement is that you will be talking directly to the clients, and you are not an assistant but a full end-to-end owner of a particular feature, if the requirement is that, and no matter how confident you are, how much good your attitude is, uh, if you are lacking in your domain knowledge, they may not be able to give you the lead position. They might still offer you, but it will not be a lead position. It will be a somewhat lower than that, because they cannot throw you in front of the client on day one, right? So
Mhm.
both are equally important aspects.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so I